Welcome everybody back to the channel. We are at Grove Hill Cemetery in Hanoverton, Ohio, and we are going to end our adventure at this place right here. But what we are going to do right now is we are going to go eat at the tavern nearby, which is called the Spread Eagle Tavern. We're going to go film some of the town, and I'm going to tell you the story of the Spread Eagle Tavern and of the house next door where there was a doctor who actually had stolen bodies from this graveyard and dissected them in his home. Having been settled in 1813 by the Quaker abolitionist James Craig, Hanoverton was once a thriving port on the Sandy and Beaver Canal, and an important link in the region's Underground Railroad. Will Rhodes commissioned the historic Spread Eagle Tavern to be built in 1837. The coming of the Cleveland and Pittsburgh Railroad in the early 1850s signaled the end of the canal and ultimately the demise of the once bustling village of Hanoverton. Today, all that remains of this grand and illustrious past is historic Plymouth Street, the Spread Eagle Tavern, and a cluster of 10 National Historic Trust buildings that sit adjacent to the tavern. So behind me is the house of one of the doctors that used to be here in Hanoverton, and the story goes that this doctor was involved in the body trade, meaning that he would take bodies from the graveyard and he would do autopsies and experiments and different things on them because it was very hard to find bodies back in the 1800s, and they needed to do a lot of medical testing, and they were trying to obviously push science a little further. So this doctor would dissect people on a table that was once in the house behind us. So the story that I was told is that the table that he used to dissect people on was actually in the Spread Eagle Tavern restaurant for a number of years before the owner and some of the other people who knew the history of the place came in and saw the table and said, you need to get that out of here, that's a health code violation, because they didn't realize, they thought it was just a regular table that, you know, you'd see when you walk into a restaurant that had mints and toothpicks and all that stuff on it.
Didn't you say they used it actually for food prep?
Well, I don't know if it was food, well, maybe food prep. I think they had like bread and butter and stuff on it, and like your napkins and utensils. So yeah, that was the story I heard. If that's true, I don't know. What I do know is that there is a house behind the tavern, which I will take some footage of now to show you, and that house is where the table currently sits. So when you decide to stay at that house and you walk in and you set your keys and your phone down and all your other stuff, you're probably setting it on that table, and you can tell because it is stained with the blood and entrails and everything else, all the other fluids from people. It is stained with that, and it even has a place where their head would have rested, like an indent, and you can see where the wood is cut and has nicks in it from where they dissected the bodies. But I thought that was a pretty crazy thing to hear about when I first came here, but the house is behind us from what I understand. That is the house that the doctor actually dissected all these people in. And when we get to the graveyard, I will show you the place where he got a lot of his bodies. And apparently there is supposed to be some sort of underground tunnel from this house here to the graveyard. So when we get to the graveyard, I'll talk about that a little more, and maybe we'll look around and see if we can find any evidence of that. So this is the house we were talking about earlier where the autopsy table is located, and it is actually to the left in this window right here. That is where it sits from the pictures I've seen. So right when you walk in, you'd set your keys and everything down on it. It's really cool. I have a buddy who stayed the night here. I'm gonna see if he can give me a picture to show you, and if he gives me that picture, you'll be seeing it right now. So what do you think? Would you want to stay the night in the creepy autopsy table house?
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be sleeping on the table per se.
Why not?
Because first of all, that'd be uncomfortable. Second of all, that is creepy.
Yeah.
But no, I'd like to stay just us once and with the kids once, but
yeah,
it'd be neat to stay and then maybe walk around in the dark in front of the tavern building.
Yeah, it'd be cool to be here at night.
Spooky, haunted.
Yeah, it's supposed to be haunted apparently, the tavern. There's all kinds of stories of ghosts and different things. When we were here last time, we actually got a photo of something pretty creepy in the window. Now it could just be matrixing, or it could have been the leaves. You know, it's always hard to tell with these things, but it was a pretty creepy picture, and especially because Abraham Lincoln stayed here. And when I heard that, and after we saw the picture, I was like, did we catch a picture of Lincoln? Like, yeah, we're gonna sound probably crazy, but it really does look like him, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was in the window glass, right?
Yeah, so I'll put a picture for you guys to see. You can decide what you think. But yeah, it's supposedly haunted by a bunch of different people, but a little boy actually fell out of a tree in front of the tavern, and he got hurt and unfortunately passed away. And this was back, I think, like around the time the tavern was originally built. So apparently it's haunted by that little boy as well. But ghosts aside, it's so pretty here, and I think it would just be a really fun time to come here and stay for like our anniversary or something, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, here's one gravestone that is laying down. I don't think we picked any up last year that were this close to the truck though, did we?
No, I think they were further back, because we said they were over the hill.
Yeah.
So what Jordan was saying is last time we came, what was it, last year?
Yeah, I think so.
The further we got down into the graveyard, it was really sad. It seemed like it was either forgotten about or just somewhat neglected, and a bunch of the gravestones were broken and laying down the grass. So we took the time to stand them up, because you think that's still a person, that's still, you know, well, not a living being anymore, but it's still, you know, a final resting place for somebody, and it just seems respectful to do.
Yeah, here's one of them from last year that we stood up, because I remember that. This one, you can tell that they were supposed to be, this one was probably here, if it's the same outline.
Oh yeah.
Now, some of them back in the day, they laid flat because it was easier to mow cemeteries like this if everything was flat.
So I bet that one you just stood up was supposed to be flat,
This
maybe.
was supposed to be standing up right here.
Yeah, but the other one.
Which one? This?
Yeah.
Probably. But in its original place where, well, I don't know where I got this one last year, but I remember I stood that one up. That probably was laying flat, but you can tell from the father on the top here, it should have been here.
Oh, did you just pick that one up?
That one I just picked up that was laying flat there.
I see.
So who knows where this one came from last year. But they're...
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I think it's got the same last name as the other one there.
Probably.
And then there's...
Also close, so I would assume they would all be related.
Then there's one straight ahead that's just kind of leaning back.
Yeah, look at all these that fell. See, these were vandalized.
That's really sad.
These were not originally like this. These were vandalized. They were broke off of their tops.
Why would someone do that?
I mean, there's no way that fall, like even with it tilted that far, I mean, some of these, like that one must have sunk in. There's no way this one would have fell on its own. Look how heavy it is.
Yeah, the ground is pretty slanted, but...
It is slanted, but like, I can't see how this one would have fell over. I can see how these two would have, but I can't see this one. But maybe they did on their own.
The base is...
moving, so.
Yeah. Maybe it flooded, because everything does look shifted. I bet it flooded.
I don't know, it's on a hill though. But
Yeah.
there is areas where it looks like it might have flooded, you're right. It looks like it's draining off this way, you're probably right. That would, Angie, you're probably definitely right.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch
you're
that.
Right, shut up. That's exactly what this was, I guarantee it. That they sunk because of that, and it's all soft sandy ground, which we'll see in a minute, because we're not far from the canal, the Sandy and Beaver Canal. But what we're gonna go over in a minute is a grave behind Angie right now. We're going to talk about that at the end, but that grave's been heavily vandalized. So that leads me to believe that the rest of these are probably, a lot of them are vandalized as well. But like if you look at this one over here, this one broke right off of this thing, and this is a child's grave because of the lamb. I don't think I'm strong enough to pick that back up without throwing my back out.
Or breaking something.
there's the hole. There, that's where it goes, is right here.
But it's probably not going to stand.
Well, I think it's just the angle it's at. Actually, you know what? Part of it's broke. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna ruin my good sweater, but it's worth it. It's so caked with mud. Yeah, it's not gonna stay. It's just it's too caked with mud. And see, this is broken off and bent. And here's all the pieces and parts that would have held it up before. Yeah. Trying to see if I can get it to stay since it has a peg in it.
Oh, yeah.
But I think since the wind is pushing so hard on the face of it. But that's how it would have looked. And that's a child's grave, so that's, of course, sad. And there's another child's grave over here.
We noticed there's actually a lot of those here. Which last time we came I started crying because it wasn't long after Lily was born, so I was emotional.
Well, it makes me wonder, Zor is a canal town as well. Zor, Ohio. And there was cholera epidemics all along the canals, probably because of sewage and things being thrown into the canals. People would get their water from the canals sometimes. They'd bathe in them, so it could be something like that. I'm so fat and out of breath from lifting that. Here's the other child's grave. This is probably the saddest one here.
No.
Because it's actually
A little casket.
Casket, yep.
That's sad.
That looks like it's always been laying there because it's got a base to it.
I think all of these over here in this little clump were, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, you're right, there were a bunch of children. Come over here and look at this one. Yeah, this was a baby not even 2 months old. Harry Wayne Pelly. But the stone is not stone. It's actually metal.
No.
And a lot of gravestones, they started doing metal like that. I don't know if this was originally metal like this or if they reproduced it, but a lot of gravestones that you see in older cemeteries, they'll be rusted metal standing graves. So this is a little different. This is the first one I've seen like that.
There's one over here I wanted to go take a look at. There's a little tiny one.
Oh yeah, right here. Sometimes they bury pets in some of these cemeteries too. So I wonder if some of these could have been pet graves, some of the smaller ones.
There's nothing on that
This
side
one's
either.
completely wore off, so they put a thing on it. You can't read that side, but this side you can.
Here's another one, I
Yeah.
think completely either flipped over or completely worn away.
A little bit of both. I mean, it doesn't have anything on it that I see. It probably was part of another grave. A lot of these are probably parts of other graves. Now the one I'm really interested in seeing is that one that was like a pink granite. We flipped it over and it was like perfectly carved because
Oh yeah, and the dirt.
Yeah, I think it was over this way.
Such a pretty fall day.
I know, this is perfect. This is my favorite thing in life right here. Spending a day with you in the fall, going to spooky stuff and having a fun, spooky fall day. Call me cheesy all you want, I don't care.
No.
Oh Wow, how did we not notice this last time?
Oh.
Look.
Oh my gosh.
How did we not notice this in the tree?
I don't know. It must have been.
Well, when
oh,
we came,
look,
it
I
was
bet
right
all
around our
this was
anniversary.
grown up.
And it probably, when we came, it was around our anniversary, so there wouldn't have been as many leaves, so the tree would have probably hit it a lot better. That's really, really cool. Really cool.
Beautiful.
Here's another one, but this one won't be able to be stood back up. Oh, look. A woolly bear.
Oh.
You can touch him, he's not going to hurt you. He's a caterpillar.
No, I know.
Do you know what a caterpillar is, Angie?
Yes, I
Do you know what
can grasp the concept. It's a dinosaur, right?
Yes, it's a dinosaur. What are those?
I think they're peanuts. At first I thought it was a flower, but the more I look, I think
Are those peanuts?
it looks like dried peanuts. Like, look inside of this.
Oh no, because look, it's 3 of them. I don't know what plant that is, but you're right. It does look like a peanut shell, but it is different.
What I was looking at is
Peanuts grow on like a bush, I think, anyways.
well, there's a giant bush.
Yeah, but that's a different type of plant.
I just thought it was kind of creepy that they're like dead and wilted.
Yeah. Look at this. There's 2 of them like this with the finger pointing up. There's one there,
What's that mean?
and then one here. Yeah, I have that graveyard book
Something about
that will tell me the signs that are on all the graves. That one I let Dad borrow, so I'll be able to figure out what that one
probably
was.
some type of like heading up to heaven.
That's what I
type
think,
thing.
something like that. That pink stone, there's another child's grave,
Anna Maria.
but that pink stone was over here, and I'm curious to see. I think we had stood it up against the tree. I don't see it. I really hope someone didn't take it. These are all laying flat again.
You said it was an obelisk?
It was an obelisk. It was a pink obelisk. These are all ones we stood up though, look, and they left them there.
Yeah. It doesn't look like this cemetery is...
It's not well taken care of. Here's another one. That's another child's grave.
I'd be really upset if we had family buried here.
I know. Yeah, they must have removed the obelisk. I mean, if you look, there's so many graves like this that are just in pieces here. Wait, is this it over here? I thought it was pink. Maybe I don't know. It had to be by that tree. I remember it was against the tree.
There was a tree here.
Yeah, but that's old. It's really interesting. You can see the hand carved and the hand chiseled marks where they cut that to make it flat. Really, really cool. But yeah, I'm bummed out. Wait, here it is. Is this it?
I was wondering if that was it.
Angie, you are right. There was a tree here. Look at the stump. You were right.
What I said.
No,
Oh my God.
I'm saying I wouldn't have thought after a year the stump would have looked like that. But here, take the camera from me.
You're a stump specialist now?
This is definitely it. And the way I know, not only is it pink granite, but look, remember I said it had the star on it? It had like a Masonic star.
Oh, yeah.
And when we flipped it over, it had all this writing on it, and it had been preserved because it was facing here. So there was a big tree here last year that they did cut down. So you were absolutely right.
Wow, second time in one video.
That's so cool that we found it. Now hopefully it'll stay up this time. Hopefully the people who take care of the cemetery will not move it this time.
Well, the sad thing is it seems like the newer part is somewhat taken care of, but this part just seems really forgotten.
Yeah.
That's sad.
So that side is the, well, we say new, but newer side.
Newer.
This is the oldest side here, you can tell. And that little chapel is awesome. They probably would have had the bodies lie in wait there before they were buried. Obviously, it doesn't look like it's safe, or even, obviously not even used anymore if it looks that unsafe, but yeah, it's pretty amazing.
It wasn't in that bad a shape last year, so it had to have flooded here.
It had to have flooded here. Whoa, look at this bug.
It's like a grasshopper hybrid.
I don't know what that thing is. If you want to talk about a terrifying grave, does that not look like two slits of a monster's eyes? Yeah. How does that even happen?
And the one next to it kind of looks like it has a butt crack.
Two butt cracks. How does that even happen?
I don't know.
Like, it obviously broke, but how does it looks like it's weathered by water. Yeah, so all the dirt and everything got in there and it just started growing, but it looks like it laid down for so long that water actually ran through it and made those divots and cracks you're seeing. That is really crazy. Yeah, yeah. Yep. Angie noticed this last time that we were here. It's an old water pump. I mean, this is original to the town and when the cemetery was built. Do you want to pull on the handle there, Angie, and see if it still pulls up? Obviously, there's nowhere for the water to come out. I don't even know where the water would have came out at looking at this. Sweetheart. Oh wait, okay, I didn't see it. Duh.
Yeah, the giant spigot.
Oh, I see. It's like a weird.
Oh, it goes side to side.
Okay, actually, so that wouldn't have been the pump handle. I don't think that would have been the pump handle because it's just loose in there.
Yeah, I don't know.
There had to be some sort of...
I bet there's two arms. Yep, look. One broke off.
But that doesn't... Well, maybe... I don't know. That feels like that's just... Yeah, look, this is just loose. It's not attached to anything.
But I mean, I'm saying this would have been another arm out attached to something.
Yeah.
Oh, and one thing I forgot to point out.
Normally... you know what? Was it... No, I don't know where it was. I don't know where the pump handle would have been. Unless it's all just so corroded and rusty that you can't tell now. Yeah. This is the grave of Christina Ann Sloan. And the story behind Christina is that in Hanoverton, people thought that she was a witch. Now, I don't know why they thought that she was a witch because of what happened to her, but let me tell you the story. Her father, George Sloan, apparently hired some men to harass her. I don't know why her own father would do this to her, but apparently something went wrong and she died. And before she died, she put a curse on the town and she put a curse on her killers. And basically what she said is, I will get revenge on my killers and I will get revenge on the town at some point, you know, when I come back. I'm gonna come back and the whole town is gonna feel my wrath. Now, if you look around us at the different gravestones here, this is a family plot. And if you see these chains that are here on this metal fence that is all around, and apparently these amulets that hung from the chains were the all-seeing eye, which is a Masonic symbol. And her father, George, was actually a Mason. So the legend says that when all of these amulets disappear, when they eventually rot and fall off, then she will come back and curse the town. Now, what a lot of people don't know is the town was already kind of cursed in 1850, because what happened was they decided to vote against having the train tracks and trains brought in through the town because they had a canal, and they were betting everything on the canal being more successful in the long run than the train coming through. And as we all know, the train was obviously, in the long run, going to be more successful than boats on a canal. So if you think of the legend as actually already coming true, these amulets are all gone. And it's not a recent thing. These amulets have been here within the past 5 years or so. And when we came here last year, the amulets weren't here. So it's been a while that they weren't here, but it's like within the last 5 to 7 years. There was an article that I read when I did some research for this, and I believe that article came out in 2016. So they were here in 2016, and I believe right here is where the last one hung. So in the article it showed one and it said, there's only one more hanging, and once that one's gone, what's gonna happen to the town? Is the curse of the witch of Hanoverton, you know, gonna come true? But I think it already came true. You know, the disaster was spelled for the town when they decided to not let the train come through. So anyways, that was just a really interesting part of Hanoverton's history. And like I said, this is the Sloan plot. So all of the Sloans are buried here. And this marker here, this obelisk, I don't actually think that this is her grave now that I'm looking over here. I've heard that people will leave Christina little trinkets and things, so come over here. This is actually her physical grave right here. So this is the actual grave of Christina Sloan. The obelisk was just a marker for the family plot. Last time I was here, I didn't remember seeing an actual grave for her, but then again, I couldn't remember her name when we were here. Now that I know her name, this is actually her grave. She was 22 years old and 2 months. And if you look here, people have actually left little trinkets. So there's a dime here. There's another coin that someone left here that looks like a British coin. And then there's like a little bottle of some sort. I'm afraid to touch that.
Yeah,
look, it's got roses. It's got rose thorns in it. It's full of thorns, and it's got a chain attached to it with a key, like a wax chain.
That's really weird.
Some kind of witchcraft stuff going on. So, you know, who knows if she was a witch? I'm sure that's all a legend. I'm sure that's all a story. But it is funny that people were leaving things here. And it is funny, too, where all this stuff is. Look, that's the only place where things are growing.
Oh, yeah.
This plant is...
finds a way.
Yeah, this plant is only growing out of the section where those little trinkets are.
But she must like all the trinkets.
Yeah, I guess so. Curious to see if you can see down inside this thing. There's probably something living in it. Oh my gosh. It's full of gravestones.
Really?
Yeah, there's gravestones under here.
Oh.
And grave markers.
Weird.
Look. Look.
Oh my gosh.
An old jug.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like a grave right there. It looks like a few different graves that they've stuck in there.
Weird.
Look in there and see. It's on the right-hand side. It looks like a grave. Laying flat. See it?
Oh, yeah.
You can probably see it. The back of it's completely
The other side is more open.
out here. Yeah. Oh yeah, gosh, you can see right in here. Oh my gosh, do you know what that is? I think I won't get too close in case this thing falls.
What they use to layer, lower.
That's what I thought. It might have been something that they laid the casket on. But you know what? I think it is something that they would have put flowers and stuff on. Hold on. There's an old spool of barbed wire. Look at this.
Oh wow.
Old spool of barbed wire. An old ladder. That's insane. This is so friggin' rickety though. Oh god, that scared the crap out of me. Oh, look at the old paint buckets. See if I can get that in there. Old paint buckets. Old water buckets. Man, this is crazy that you can see inside the building like that. I'm covered in bugs too. Oh my god, there's tons of bugs there.
There's like weights.
Yeah, I wonder what those are.
Like you feel them, they're actual like. I wonder
what
if
could those be?
They were probably weights that they used as they lowered. Oh, be careful, there's a bunch of glass.
Oh, I see that. Yeah, what could these be? If anyone knows, let me know. I know my brother Josh will probably know. They're all numbered, but so the thing is, they're all numbered different, Angie.
Okay.
But they are the same weight. They're not They're not any heavier than the other ones.
Weird. This one's in perfect shape. It's not broken or anything.
No, and then there's glass from all the windows. But yeah, look at how many of them. This one's wider than the other ones.
Yeah.
And this one actually has, look, it's got like a bump on it.
Weird. My first thought was that it was
and it's hollow
when they would lower caskets.
Like if they had to have it weighed correctly or something,
Yeah,
like so it was balanced.
As they lowered it down.
I don't know what those could be. I really don't. And then there was one of these inside the building. Some sort of stake for something.
It really is neglected because somebody broke the windows. They didn't even clean up all the glass, and they just threw up a board.
Yeah. Is that a light? Yeah. Actually, it might be. That's a camera.
Oh, yeah.
That's a security camera. So they do have an eye on the place, which is good. And that does look like they have a newer lock on it to stop people from getting in.
Yeah.
Which is definitely good to see.
But the whole thing's broken.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to go on the door. You can go from
I know, you could go in from the bottom, seriously. There's all kinds of debris here that wasn't here last time. So I think you're right, Angie. I think there must have been some sort of flood and they tore things up. We'll have to look into it. These are really cool. The fact that these are still here and they're not being maintained is actually pretty cool, that they are so covered in moss. Take a look at this, huh? I mean, that is thick.
Crazy.
Like that's been growing here for a while. And look at that one, even has a hole in it.
Oh, it's weird. Like when you walk on it, it just sounds and feels like carpet. So it's like moss carpet. Oh, wow.
Ooh, it does. That's super weird.
Is that weird?
Yeah, it's super weird.
There's one knocked down over here, too.
Oh, geez, that's a big one, too.
Looks like that.
You know what's super weird is this battery is fully charged, not having any kinds of problems, hasn't dipped down a single bit.
Now that
we're away from that grave.
Well,
That's really weird.
not that I'm a big witchcraft person, but I wouldn't doubt her then.
Yeah, I'm not a witchcraft person at all, but as far as spooky stuff, that's pretty weird that both of our batteries croaked when we were around that grave.
Yeah, they were fine until we got at it as they fall down the hill.
Wait, did you hear that noise? What was that?
Oh, look, an orb.
So we just wrapped up filming, but we are on our way back to the grave of Christina Sloan, because as we mentioned before, this is going to sound stupid, and you're going to be like, oh, ghost stuff, but it's true. Both of our batteries just died, didn't they, when we were by that grave?
Yep, they were perfectly fine, but the closer we got to the grave, it would go down to one battery, or one bar, and then just dead.
We had a battery in the camera that wasn't a Sony battery. It was just an off-brand, which has better battery life than the Sony one that I'm using right now. And that battery was 3/4 of the way full. And that one died like within 5 minutes. I put a brand new one in. That one was dead within another, what, 10 minutes?
Yeah.
I mean, it was super, super quick. There's nothing that should be killing this battery. It's really cool outside. It's just strange. It's really weird.
And we weren't even filming long or anything.
No. But anyways, what we wanted to do was just walk back over to Christina's grave really quick and see if our battery started dying in the Sony one. Now, maybe those batteries just don't hold as good of a charge as the Sony battery. So the Sony one like dies quick. Like, it's known that these batteries in this camera die quick, but people said the ones I bought are supposed to be the ones that don't die as quick. In South Carolina, they were fine. Right here, they were dead.
Like, have we lost any bars?
No.
Yeah, really weird.
Nope. Perfectly fine.
Because when I first got out, the one was 50% charged, and then it died.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're at 3/4 of a battery right now, and we've been filming on this for over a half hour.
Yeah.
It just went down one notch. This is just a really neat place. Other than the traffic you're hearing from whatever highway is down there, I think that's 44 that we came in on. It's just a very, very quaint place back here. It's very quiet and peaceful, and just what a perfect fall day for taking a walk with the leaves falling and being in a spooky cemetery.
Mm-hmm. Now we need coffee.
Yes. Now we need coffee.
Or tea.
Or tea. So we are back at the cemetery once again. We ended our day here. We decided to stand up some of the graves that we found. We wanted to check on the graves that we had found last year to see if they were still intact and to see if they were still there, and most of them still seem to be standing up, so I was happy about that. I'm glad to see it. Doesn't, you know, mean necessarily that they're taking better care of it here, but it looks like
they're exactly where we set them up last time.
Yeah, so it looks like it's nothing worse than what was here, but we stood a few more up that we found, and I don't know, it may seem weird to some people that we like coming out to cemeteries, but I think it's really peaceful, and seeing the graves of our ancestors, you know, and these places are lonely, regardless of what your religious beliefs are. It's sad to think that there's people here that don't get visited by life all the time. So it was fun. It was a really, really fun day. I'm glad we came out here again. Tavern was awesome. They have great food. But yeah, once again, this is Hanoverton, Ohio. If you are in the area, definitely stop by and check it out. And as always, we appreciate you watching. And hopefully we'll have a lot more videos to come on this channel as we travel. We think this is going to be a really fun thing for the two of us to do because we like to travel a lot and do day trips and things like that. And I hope if you enjoy our other content, which is trading card game related, you check those channels out too. But this is going to be a channel that's specifically for us to take day trips. So thank you for coming with us on Destination Anywhere. We really appreciate it. Anything you want to say, Angie?
Other than I keep hearing you echoing through the cemetery. No.
No. Well, you'll definitely enjoy the footage that's coming up of the outtakes. You will enjoy this footage. This is pretty good. So
it'll definitely be an interesting first video.
Yeah, this is a good first video. So anyways, thank you all so much for watching, Angie.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll see you at the next destination anywhere. Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. The camera out in front of me the whole time. Look, you can see where my was. Look, you can see my prints. I just disappeared. Look at how steep it was, though. Look, all the leaves were covering it, so it looked like a normal hill. And it's literally a drop off.
So all I gotta say is we go kayaking, you flip your kayak.
Yeah.
Well, walk around. You're gonna fall backwards now. You better get away.
Oh God! Look what's behind me as I'm talking to her. Oh my God, that was too good. Am I all dirty?
I can't wait to see that. I'm sorry.
Just disappeared like a ninja. You're just talking to me. You're talking to me. I just slipped into the leaves.
I looked at my
I just teleported into the leaves. Horse tying pole.
I said I don't know the proper.
Hitching post.
Whatever.
Hitching post.
When I think of hitching post, I think of somebody married.
Hitching post. That's why they call it getting hitched. I zoomed in really close on your face. Ow! I stabbed myself in the eye!